Come along with me, children, to a happier place where it is Friday all day long. Oh, hey, how you doing? Didn't see you there. Finally, Friday is being brought to you this week by Major Spoilers VIP and Patreon members from around the world. You can show your support for everything we do by going over to patreon.com/Major Spoilers and signing up today. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you have a good Friday planned and a warm Friday planned. Warm weekend ahead. Ooh. Sneezes come right when you least expect them. Today, it was, this morning, it was 0 degrees when we went to, took the kids to school with a wind chill of minus 15. A couple of alerts this morning, somewhere around 4 inches of snow expected to fall. I don't think that's going to happen. Right now it is 5 degrees with a wind chill of minus 4 degrees. And the wind chill advisory says, during the snow Saturday night and Sunday, wind chills will be as low as 25 below zero. As a precaution, wear a hat and gloves when you go outside. I gotta love that. Now, I have been going out and doing lots of walks since the beginning of the year. There were times where snow, couldn't go walk. I get very sad. But since the start of the month of February, I've been going out every single day, even days when, like, I think yesterday with the wind chill, it was like minus 12. And that was cold. I gotta tell you, it was chilly. My fingers were frozen even though I was wearing gloves and a hat and multiple layers of clothing. But the family has decided that I need to take a couple of days off, especially if it's going to get, in some instances, minus 25 or further. I know in some places they were talking minus 45 degrees, zero with the wind chill. That's more into the northwest part of the state, which is not too far away from here. Within a 45-minute drive, that's where it's supposed to get that way. But looking at the radar, I don't think we're going to get any snow. They're saying some snow on Sunday, but... Well, hello! The one J. Michael T. did a little thing. What did he do? He subscribed with Prime Gaming. He has subscribed for 14 months, currently on an 11th month streak. That is so awesome. It's 41 degrees and we're freezing in Atlanta. Oh, 1J Michael T, I remember living in Atlanta back in the day when it would get like 1/16 of an inch of snow and the city would screech to a standstill. I remember one time I actually had a play that I was supposed to go to, and it started snowing, and I was working in Buckhead, and I lived at the time in Smyrna. And, it's not super far, but I wasn't also taking any interstates. I was just taking surface streets. And my boss came in at 3 o'clock and said, it's snowing. Traffic's starting to pile up. You might want to leave now. I was like, oh, well, that's nice. Thanks for letting me leave early. I mean, it's just a little bit of snow. How bad could it be? And I left at 3 o'clock, and we were creeping along at probably an inch an hour. And at one point, there was a guy walking along the side of the road, just normal walk, not running, not, brisk pace or anything like that. Just a normal Atlanta-type walk. And he was just passing traffic, walking faster than the traffic. I got home. We were supposed to leave at 6. I didn't get home until 6:30. So 3.5 hours of just being stuck in the dumbest traffic in the world. So there you go. Ugh. I got stuck on the highway for 6 hours, snowpocalypse. Well, I feel sorry for those people in Texas. If you saw that pile up, man, that was a scary mess. And my heart goes out to anybody involved in that wreck. Hopefully people were okay. But here's the thing. We're probably going to stay inside this weekend. The wife said she was going to go and do some grocery shopping right after work, so we didn't have to go out tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I have to go out tomorrow. But we're going to stay warm inside and do exciting things like grading papers and doing taxes. Oh, it's going to be just the most fun that we've ever had in the entire world. Whoo! But until that excitement happens, how about we talk a little bit about some of the things going on in Hollywood today and some of the news. Valiant's movie Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel, up for an Academy Award. Yeah, Academy Award nominated, Oscar nominated Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel. That's how you have to refer to that film from now on. Oscar nominated Bloodshot. Now, if it wins, it'll be Academy Award winning Bloodshot. Just like The Suicide Squad. Many people were like, The Suicide Squad, what a horrible movie. Oscar winning The Suicide Squad. Yeah, think about that. So Bloodshot has been nominated for Best Visual Effects. And if you guys got to see that movie, the visual effects were really, really good. I really enjoyed that movie. I watched it the weekend that it came out. This was right around about a year ago, right? When it came out. And it goes out on Blu-ray and DVD and 4K and all that stuff on February 24th. And I remember the movie came out the same weekend that everything shut down. And so a lot of people didn't get to see it, but we got to see it fairly soon after that on VOD. And that's where I watched it. And I thought it was very, very good. I thought it was solid. I hope, unfortunately, and this is the problem, because Valiant Entertainment did this along with Original Films and Paramount Pictures, if I'm remembering correctly. For some reason, I wanted to say... it was released through Sony Pictures. For some reason, I wanted to say Legendary was involved in this as well, but Sony Pictures is who released it. I don't think it made enough money for Sony to say, let's do a sequel, which is a shame, because it was a good movie, and I would like to see a second or third Bloodshot movie come about. Especially if you've heard us talk about Bloodshot on the Major Spoilers podcast. You are listening to that, aren't you? You can find all the Major Spoilers shows by just doing a search for Major Spoilers Plus. It's where we collect everything. Just go with the flow, right? Everyone else is naming their streaming services Plus. Why don't we just pack all of our Major Spoilers podcasts into one place? Major Spoilers Plus. So, Bloodshot. Very good movie. I hope to see a sequel. I hope it wins an Oscar. What's going on with Black Widow? I don't know. A lot of people keep asking me, do you think that Disney's going to release this as premium? I think, so here's the thing. Right now, Black Widow the studio has said we are for sure releasing this in the theater. This will be a theatrical release. And they haven't said anything about plans to release both VOD and theatrically at the same time, like we're seeing some other movies do, like Warner Brothers is doing. I'm going to tell you about a Warner Brothers movie here in just a little bit. But the problem is, if they are dead set committed to having Black Widow land in the theaters and only be a theatrical release, then that movie is going to continually get pushed back further and further and further. Because if it is tied in, and this is one of the problems with a universe that is so interconnected, if you're waiting for one thing to happen before anything else can happen, and that one thing is delayed, everything else backs up. Just like all those people who are stuck in traffic as the snow falls down. And the further things get piled up, the more other things get delayed. Like Shang-Chi, for example, which is done shooting, which is, I think, halfway done through post-production right now. If Shang-Chi can't get released until Black Widow gets released, if Doctor Strange can't get released until Black Widow gets released, if Eternals can't get released until Shang-Chi gets released, it's going to be a problem. But Disney and Marvel Studios have said that they're still planning on using it to kick off the summer. I don't think it's going to happen. So why the delay? Why the holdup? Why are they just not saying, hey, guess what? If you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you can also jump in and get the premium, pay a little bit more, pay $30 and get access to Black Widow on the same day that it hits theatrical. Just like they're doing with, what is it called? Rava and the Dragon? That movie looks fantastic. You can bet I'm plunking down my $30 for that to watch it in the home theater. But part of the problem is with the contracts. You know, in the case of Wonder Woman 1984, they went to Patty Jenkins and they went to Gal Gadot, and they paid them a ton of money so that they could release that theatrically and on VOD on Christmas Day. I'm pretty sure it's written into Scarlett Johansson's contract that this has to have a theatrical release. And unless they're really doing some hard negotiations with her, if that's written in the contract, they certainly don't want to break any contractual agreements. And I know that Hollywood and the agents are scrambling right now to figure out what to do with streaming media going forward after this. But I'm going to bet if it gets pushed one more time, I think it's supposed to kick off in the middle of 2021, right? What is the release date? I don't think they're... I'm trying to find the scheduled release date. I want to say it is May 7th for Black Widow. You know, it used to be the first weekend in May was also Free Comic Book Day, and Free Comic Book Day has already been pushed to August of this year, I believe. And so if they're going to have to push that May 7th release, which more than likely they will, then they're going to have to release this on premium VOD. And just be done with it. HBO Max is doing that now, aren't they? Yes, they are releasing theatrically and day of release for any theaters that are open, so you can still go see it in the theater if you want to. But what the problem is, especially with Black Widow and some other movies, and some of the movies that HBO Max and Warner Brothers are releasing in 2021, is that certain contracts, the way they're written, a lot of actors and a lot of producers and a lot of directors and a lot of the above-the-line people, producers, directors, actors, cinematographers, not the craft services, not the grips, not the gaffers. They will often take a little bit less pay in order to either start a franchise. For example, we could end up with 3 Black Widow movies instead of just Black Widow as part of the Marvel Universe, which means more money for Scarlett Johansson. Or it's written into the contract that I'll take a little bit less, but I want a larger percentage of the back end, either gross or net, depending on how powerful you are and how good your negotiation team is. And so in the case of Black Widow, if it's written into a contract that somebody is getting points, a percentage of box office, then it's in their best interest to make sure the contract says that this movie has to be released theatrically so that they can make up that money. So if the movie makes $150 million, $200 million, and you're getting 2% of that, that extra $2 million or $20 million or whatever it may end up being can be quite the amount of money that you get to pocket on top of the $10 million that you're getting for the role. So that's why this one is being held up, is all because of the way that things are written into the contract about theatrical releases. Malone says it's going to be interesting time come summer if COVID stuff isn't improving dramatically by then. Well, I mean, President Biden has stated that he wants to get 300 million doses of the vaccine out and injected into the public by May, which would have been around this same time. I don't remember what the exact numbers of that are. Don't quote me on that. And I know locally here at my teaching job, they're encouraging us to, call around to some of these other smaller counties that may have some leftover doses and try to get inoculated as quickly as you can so you can come back to work. But of course, I've also got people that are like, well, I don't believe in vaccines. I don't want to wear a mask. But then we also have the UK variant that is exploding already. We have multiple cases here in our county already of the UK variant. So who knows what's going on? I just know that if everybody would just wear their masks or their gaiters or whatever it may be, we'd probably be better off. But summer, I think, is still... I've told people that I do not expect to get... And I'm on the list, and I'm on an advanced list, supposedly, to get inoculated because I am someone that has high contact with the public. And I'm still not expected to get a shot until May or June. Canada is supposed to start vaccinating in August for general pop. So, yeah, I don't see the theaters opening in large outlets anytime soon. Yeah, it takes about a 70+% vaccination rate to really work. Then we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, on the flip side, what is the detective movie over in China? Today is the celebration of the Lunar New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. The Year of the Ox. What is the movie? Detective... gosh, what the heck is the name of this movie? Let's see if I can find it really quick. Detective Chinatown. Detective Chinatown 3 opened I guess today or yesterday. I'm sorry, it opened on Friday, so today, on its Chinese New Year, breaking the box office records for $163 million in sales in its first day in China. According to Variety, this marks the highest ever opening day rally for a film in a single market, beating out former title holder Avengers Endgame, which grossed $157 million in North America on its first day in 2019. I don't know if you've seen Detective Chinatown. I've watched, I believe the first one is available on, I know it's on Apple Plus in the movie section, but I don't remember where else it is, if it's on Amazon or where it is. A fun, silly movie. It'll make you laugh. But Detective Chinatown 3 tops Chinese New Year's Day, $165 million. So obviously some people are going back to the theaters, and I think that's what the Black Widow people want, is for $165 million when the theaters reopen. And again, when theaters reopen, the studios want to have their biggest hitter right there, ready to go, so they can rake in the bucks, because everyone's been, cooped up inside. Supposedly we've been all staying inside and behaving and not contacting with anyone else and social distancing, all that. But we want to pack into those theaters. We want to watch something on a big screen of at least 110 inches. And that's what the studios are hoping for and the theaters are hoping for. So let's hold off that big blockbuster so that we can pack it in. Now, on the other hand, HBO Max is just like, no, Godzilla vs. King Kong coming out very soon. Speaking of HBO and Warner Brothers, I decided last night I had some free time. More on my increasing free time for our VIP live chat coming up at the end of the month. If you want to be part of the VIP live chat where you go behind the scenes and we tell you exactly what's going on at Major Spoilers, all the good things, all the bad things, and of course you get to ask your questions, then you need to become a gold level patron at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. But in my free time last night, I decided instead of watching something that I've already seen before, I'm going to watch one of these movies that HBO Max releases, it seems like every week or pretty much every week. They're releasing a theatrical release onto HBO Max, and the most recent one is The Little Things, a neo-noir crime thriller from John Lee Hancock starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. And it was interesting. There's a serial killer murdering women. Denzel Washington is an older detective who comes into Los Angeles and inadvertently gets involved in the case, and he's trying to tie his case with an older case. And Rami Malek, or Rainy Malek, I don't know how, if it's a Rami or Raimi. But he is the detective that replaced Denzel Washington. And so they team up trying to take down the serial killer who they suspect is Jared Leto. And this movie plays out kind of in the same, I don't want to say the exact same way, but before I started reading all the reviews today about the movie, I watched the movie first and then read the reviews. You watch the movie and you're like, wow, this feels very much like Seven. So much so that when you get to the big climax and they're digging for a dead body, you half expect it to be one person. It's not. But it feels very much like the movie Seven, which, you know, with a lot of people who are reviewing it, they say that is to the film's detriment. But if you like Seven, if you like creepy suspects, if you like maybe cops not doing all the things cops should be doing, then you might enjoy this movie. I think right now it's only enjoying a, what is the box? What is the critical response? 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. 5.5 out of 10. It's okay. If you got nothing better to do and you want to watch something new, The Little Things is creepy enough. My biggest complaint about the movie, and I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but my biggest complaint about the movie is it's long. And I know theatrical releases today are trying to increase their length so that you feel like you're getting more for the ticket price that you're paying. If you're going in and paying $20 for a ticket to see a movie, you want to get, you know, your money's worth. And so it seems like we're getting longer and longer theatrical releases to match that. But at 2 hours, and what is the total runtime? 127 minutes. Basically 2 hours plus 7 minutes of credits. I don't know if it sounds like the first season of True Detective. The first season of True Detective was chef's kiss as far as storytelling goes. At least the end of True Detective was satisfying. I don't think I was not super satisfied with the ending of Little Things. But here's the thing. I don't think every movie needs to be 2 hours. I don't think every movie needs to be 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. Good Lord, we've got the Snyder Cut coming up, which is like 4 hours worth of movie. I don't think we need that. I would love to see a super tight 90-minute feature. And I want to see this upcoming Disney movie. What is it called? Rava and the Dragon, I believe. Let's see if we can find the runtime on that. Oh, Raya and the Dragon. R-A-Y-A and the Dragon. Let's see if I can find anything about runtime. Doodly 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 doo. Nothing about runtime yet. But if it's more than 110 minutes, I would be surprised. I think we need more tighter 90-minute movies. And of course, for those of you that don't know, there is a stipulation. I don't know if it's still in place. But, your movies have to be something like longer than 85 minutes. Or it's not considered a feature-length film and therefore misses out on all sorts of, festival, Oscar, award type categories because it's not considered feature-length. So that's why they tend to be much longer than 90 minutes today. I like what the one J. Michael T says. This seems like this could have been an email kind of movies. Yeah. Malone says he watched a Korean Netflix movie called Space Sweepers. I saw the trailer for that last night, too. I have added it to my list. It's a space adventure with some good world-building ideas. That may be something that winds up on my list this weekend. There are a couple of other movies on my watch list. We talked about those last night during the recording of our Dueling Review podcast. And if you are a patron, I believe at the silver level and higher, you can come and listen to us record Dueling Review live Thursday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time in our Discord server. And Matthew and I usually talk about 5-10 minutes before we do Dueling Review. And then depending on how busy we are, etc., we talk about general junk for, anywhere from 5 to, again, last night, 30 plus minutes after the recording of the show. And I mentioned a couple of other movies that I'm very excited about seeing. Give me better paced movies, says Lagnus. What they used to express in 5 minutes now spends 30 minutes on, and that's why I don't watch that many movies at home or wander off and do something fun when it loses steam. J. Michael T says my sweet spot seems to be around at 145. I think that's probably right. But if you give me a 215, I'm just like, ugh. And last night, again, I started watching at like 9:30. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just watch a movie, hour and a half, crank it out, hour, 40 minutes. And then I'll be in bed before, around 11. No, it's 10:30, and I'm like, how long is this movie? And I had to look, and I was like, oh, my God, it's still got another hour left in it. So, just be aware of that. Oh, speaking of movies that are skipping the theater, My Little Pony is skipping theaters and going exclusively to Netflix. Paramount Pictures was originally set to distribute the film, which was going to open in September 24th of this year. They have now said that they are going to land on... My Little Pony is expected to land on Netflix later this year, although no exact date has been released. And then if you go over to Variety.com and you read that article, they have a really good table of all the studios and films and their theatrical and digital release dates going back a year ago with Trolls World Tour from Universal, and just moving forward from there so you can kind of see what movies have released theatrically and which ones were released digitally. And you can kind of compare yourself. The Little Things is on page 3. So if we go forward from that, Godzilla vs. Kong comes out on March 31st. Disney's Raya and the Dragon comes out March 5th. Coming to America 2 comes out on Amazon on March 5th. And SpongeBob, Sponge on the Run, comes out March 4th. Of course, it actually had a theatrical release on August 7th of 2020. So yeah, you can go check that out. I don't know what the relationship is between Paramount and Hasbro. They may have a first look deal. They may have some contracts. Are you doing a Tales of Equestria My Little Pony RPG one-shot to ride the Netflix site? Probably not. Probably not. All right. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of good comments this week. So, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out and talking about movies. I want to talk, there's a couple of things that I might want to talk about. One's kind of depressing. Kind of depressing. Well, I might as well just share it now. I'll share it now. And get your guys' reaction to this. So apparently, I guess I didn't realize this because I don't take care of any of the bills related to my children's school, etc. I mean, my wife and I communicate. Don't worry, I'm paying my fair share. Don't worry. I give her the money. She does with it what needs to be done. But I didn't realize that my kids were getting free lunches this year. The school district decided that, I don't know if because of some COVID monies or whatever, but instead of paid lunches like the kids have had in the past, everybody gets free lunches. So they're, depending on your economic qualifier, you either have to pay for your lunch or you get a free lunch. This year they said free lunches across the board, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I feel a little guilty, but whatever. And it's not because of our economic situation or anything like that. But the boys were in the car a couple of weeks ago and they were talking about taquitos, which they love the taquitos. But one of them said, oh yeah, I only got 2. And normally in past years we would get 3 and we can't go back for seconds. And I was like, oh, well, why is that? And it's like, well, because it's free and they don't let you go back for seconds if you're getting a free lunch. And then the other one piped in and said, you're right. I come home at the end of the day so hungry because I can't get enough food from those free lunches at school. And my first reaction was, well, that's kind of good that you guys are experiencing this. Not that you're hungry. I'm sorry that you're hungry. But it's kind of good that you get to experience what it means to be on a program where you don't get to go back for seconds, where you don't get as much as what people who are paying for lunches get in a normal year. And again, everybody's getting the free lunch. Everybody's getting the same thing right now. And I said, it makes you think, that maybe there are other people in your class or in your school who are on the free lunch program and how hungry you must be. Think about how hungry they must be every single day of the week. And on top of that, many of these kids go home and they have nothing else to eat during the day. So while I feel sorry that my children come home hungry because they didn't get enough at the school lunch program, at the same time, it developed a way for us to communicate and say, have some empathy. Now you know what it feels like to be some other people. And perhaps going forward, you will remember this feeling of how hungry you were. And when you hear about schools accepting food donations, when you hear about food banks that are requesting money or requesting food, that the people who are using those food banks are those people who are going home hungry every night, just like you guys are. And so hopefully hopefully the conversation that we had, and why I'm sharing it with you, is hopefully it develops some empathy in my kids towards other people and people who are not as fortunate as they are. And hopefully it makes them think that the next time that they complain about not enough potato chips in the pantry or not enough Oreo cookies to eat, that they think about, there's some other people that can't even afford Oreo cookies or potato chips. And I'm hoping that as they grow older, when it comes time to donate to United Way or when it comes time to donate to food banks, that they will take that experience that they've had during this COVID time and they will reflect on that and say, this is worth doing going forward. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of a downer way to end this show, and it's kind of weird for me to say I'm happy that my kids have to experience feeling hungry so that they can understand what a lot of other people in this world are going through. So if you have a food bank in your area, please consider donating. If you have a service that you support, some people will support religious charities, some people don't for their religious purposes. I'm fine with that too, but how about as we go into these very, very, very cold weekends across much of the nation, we think about some people who are less fortunate and we try to do something to reach out to them and help them. In the meantime, do good, be good, wear your mask. Make sure you visit our Discord and hang out with some other people talking about cool things. And we'll be back next week when it's finally Friday. Till then, take a look at all these cool people. Take care, everyone. Thanks, everyone.